Today we're going to have a look at how you get custom goals from Google Analytics into PowerMetrics. So instead of choosing an instant metric, we're going to create a custom metric. I've already authenticated with Google Analytics, and I'm now choosing a profile that has goals associated with it. We're going to start with an optional step, just in case you don't know what goal numbers are available inside of all of your profiles. So by choosing the data view goals, we're going to specify ID, profile ID, and the name of the goal, and then hit get data. And you can see here that we have a bunch of goals specified. You can see the associated names, and you can even see that there is multiple profile IDs associated with each of these. For today's example, we're going to take a look at trial button clicks, which is goal ID 16. So let's keep that in mind. So once we know what goals we want, we can go into the goal completions view. Now the goal completions view requires an end date and a start date to be specified, as do many of the metrics that you're going to get from Google Analytics. So I'm doing that now. I'm going to pull back the last 7 days of data, and I know that there are plenty of goals available within that time period. So we're going to pull back date, dimension, goal completion all, and metrics. And for 2 of them, we're going to have to set up some filters. So let's go back and set up dimensions first. Dimensions is where you specify what dimensionality you want to segment by. So again, you can choose various different things, but for today's example, I'm going to use channel grouping. And then the other one we have to enter a filter for is metrics. So we're going to go in here and we're going to go equals goal 16 completions. So that's the value of our goal that we want to pull metrics back for. And then let's hit preview data and let's see what we get. So date, dimension, goal completions all, and metrics. And by the way, we need to have goal completions all because otherwise the query won't work properly. So let's bring this into the modeler where we can clean things up. Most notably, let's actually not call this heading dimensions. Let's actually call it channel groupings. Under metrics, we can actually say this is goal 16 completions. So let's change the name for that as well. And the other thing that you'll probably notice is that currently it's specified as text, as ABC. So we want to go in and we want to modify that and change that to number. So there we go. Okay, so this looks good. We're going to save and continue. And we're going to see if this looks right when we actually build a metric. So we want to sum that obviously on a daily basis. We're segmenting by channel grouping, over date. We know that everything that comes back from Google Analytics is a periodic summary. And let's have a look. Okay, here's our data. And as you can see, we have the segment available to us, and you can filter by that segment as well. So if you only wanted to take a look at direct, organic, and referral traffic, you could very easily do that right here. So why don't we go back and add a second dimension? So if you're still with me, this is going to take it up a notch. And we're going to go back into that query or that model, and we're going to modify it a little bit. So end date and start date, we're going to keep the same, but let's have a look at our dimensions again. So instead of just using channel grouping, we're going to delete that and we're going to put it back. But for now, we're going to use Google Analytics' syntax where they ask for a comma separated list of values. And we're going to add user type to that. Let's see what we get. So here you can see we have the channel grouping, comma, user type. Now, that's not very useful to us in this current way. So we're going to do a little bit of magic inside of Modeler to actually separate those 2 values into their own columns. And that way we can set up 2 different dimensions that we can segment and filter by. So we're going to dive into some of the power that Modeler has to offer, and we're going to use a function called substring that allows us to find the comma and then basically get all the values to the left of it up into the comma. we actually have to, I forgot putting a 0 in there, so we want to start at 0 and then stop at where the index finds that comma. So you can see that we've done that here, so that cleans it up. And then we're going to copy that same formula into the other column, but we're going to reverse it. Now you can see that the comma is still there, so we kind of have to add a +1 to that. All right, so now that we've got good clean data, let's make sure that our formats are correct. Let's update the column headers. And then let's go back and make sure that we can build this metric with the proper dimensionality. So we're going to save and exit this, and then let's go back to the metric that we had originally built. Okay, now there's a few things that we need to do to make sure that this is up to date as well. So we're going to hit edit. We're going to go down, and because we changed the model, we're going to have to reassign the metric as well as the dimensionality. And then as soon as we hit save, it's going to actually ask us to re-ingest the data, which we want to do. It's going to pull that all back, and let's go have a look and see what's there. We have channel grouping, and we have user type as segments, and of course those exist as filters as well. So thanks for following along. That's how you bring custom data from Google Analytics into PowerMetrics. Give it a try yourself and let us know if you've got any questions.